Alright, in this video I'm going to be doing the side seals on my garage door. You can see that this one really jacked up. I don't know what hit it. Maybe the previous owner backed their car out and clipped it or something. I don't know. You can also see there's some rodent damage at the bottom. Some squirrels and chipmunks used to get into my garage. So trying to put a stop to that. But you can't really repair this thing. It just has to be removed. It is far too gone. And it's not really touching the garage door either. So I'll try and do a better job than they did installing this. And this is probably the original door seal that came with this thing in 1989 when they built the house. And you can see they did do a little notch out for the upper corner on each of these sides, which I'm going to do. I was thinking about not replicating that, but I decided I will. And you can see that this side is also chewed up as well. Even though it doesn't have that damage on it, I am going to replace it as well. Now to remove this thing, it's just held in place by about 5 or 6 screws. So it's not really a difficult thing to do. You just need a screwdriver, or in my case, I'm using a drill. Links in the description, by the way, if you need any tools or that sort of thing. Hit me up on Amazon, I'll get a couple dollars out of it. And you can see I'm wearing blue Asics, but I am trying to save up a few dollars to get some white New Balance to really embrace the dad look. Now on the left side of this garage, it's the same as the right. There's about 5 or 6 screws. They come out no problem with the drill, it takes a few seconds. And you can see that the garage door used to be painted, is that teal? I think it's teal. Anyway, off camera I take some white paint it white so that that teal isn't exposed, and then come back out after lunch. So I got this Climalock seal for each side, and it's just the sides. They're 8 feet long, they come in 10-foot lengths as well. If you want to do the whole thing, I guess you need a 16-footer. I'm not sure where you get that, but perhaps you can do it in 2 8-foot pieces as well. Be kind of a weird way to do it, but anyway, you can see that I need to cut this thing down. It's about 6 feet, maybe 6.5 feet tall, so I need to trim it. And obviously to trim this thing, I'm just going to measure it to the highest point on the garage door. I'm going to cut it there, and then I'm going to do that notch out afterwards. So I think it's about 82.5 inches is what I measured out. Not important, yours is going to be a little bit different, so you got to measure it yourself. But I use a hacksaw to cut it down to the longest length, and then I trim out about a 1/2 inch square. So a 1/2 inch down and a 1/2 inch over as well, which is about 1 saw blade in either direction, and that's just a little square that's going to allow it to fit a little tighter up into the garage door. Honestly, you don't even notice it. It's extra work that didn't have to be done. Now there is a little screw cover that pops out on these ones, which is nicer. It looks better, I think, so you got to take that out, and they give you a handful of screws. They give you enough of them, whatever, they're just screws, no big deal there. Obviously to put it in, I'm going to use a drill, although you could use a screwdriver as well. And now I did switch over to sandals for this. Normally I do charge top dollar to expose my feet on my other online platform. However, today I'm giving it away for free. So hit that like and subscribe. I'll definitely have some more foot videos coming up. Now to install this thing, there's like 8 screws. It's pretty easy. You do want that rubber seal touching the door. Now you don't want it like crazy tight against the door. You just want it so it's just touching the door, you know, and then pushed in a little bit more. If it's too tight, then it could bind and stick on the door. You don't want that. So there it is with all the screws in. And then once all the screws are in, obviously you're going to take that screw cover, that little plastic piece, and just clip it into place. And it's not too difficult. Overall, the installation of this thing is very easy, and it's definitely a big improvement. Now, I do the other side as well, so stick around for some more foot content. This one's about 83 inches long, so not the same height on either side. A little bit of a discrepancy there. So like I said, you got to measure your own. You can't use my measurements. That would be silly. And I do use a utility knife to cut the rubber on the second time here. I think it's a little bit easier than using the saw, but anyway, another useful tool to have around is a utility knife or box cutter. Now to mount this one, same thing. I put the top screw in first and then put the bottom screw in. I find that's just a better way to do it. Keeps the top and bottom in, and then you just do the rest of the screws. And like I said, very simple. Just get those screws in. There's about 8 of them, give or take. Not much to that. And just like the other side, you don't want that rubber piece to be too tight against the garage door. You just want it touching the garage door, and that's about it. Take that screw cover, put it into place. It just clips in. There's no difficulty in doing it whatsoever. Now to open the garage door, gotta check it out, make sure nothing's binding, and it looks good. As soon as the garage door starts lifting, it backs away. You can see that the rubber sort of binds up. There's maybe too much rubber in the top corner, so I might trim that back. I haven't actually decided if I'm going to do that or not. I'm going to leave it for a few days, see how it operates with it doubled up like that in the top corners. I think it's going to be fine, but I might come back around and trim it up anyway. And then I'll just close the garage door, make sure that it doesn't do anything weird on the way down, but I'm really not expecting it to. And it looks like it seals very well around the edges. It is binding up in that top corner, but really not much, and it's right up at that top corner, so it's not like water's going to get in there anyway. So I might just leave it. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm not going to make a video on it or follow up on it in any way, but I might do it. Anyway, that's all there is to this. It looks way better, and it is pretty easy. Maybe like a 30-minute job. Thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.